Good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. First, the headlines. Halal economy. Nigeria government targets $1.5 billion 2027. South African president calls for permanent African seat on UN Security Council. Sudan's warring parties says they are open for peaceful solutions. And on sport, NPFL cautions club against match disruption. Now the news in detail. Vice President Kashim Shettima said Nigeria has embraced the halal economy and is hoping to leverage the opportunities to add a sum of $1.5 billion to the country's GDP by 2027. Shettima revealed that this as he attended the Nigeria Halal Economy Stakeholders Engagement Program in Abuja on Wednesday. The program with the theme, Building a Vibrant Halal Economy, Unlocking Nigeria's Potential, seeks to stimulate Nigeria's economy by enhancing more investment in the halal market. According to available records, the global halal economy has hit $7 trillion and is projected to grow to $7.7 by 2025. The governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, has dissolved the caretaker chairman of all 44 local government areas with immediate effect. This was disclosed in a statement released by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Baturi. The dissolution comes a week after the State House of Assembly approved a 2-month extension to their tenure, which was initially set to expire on September 8th. The extension, according to lawmakers, was intended to ensure continuity in local governance. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and the United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, have declared their commitment to press freedom in Nigeria and Africa. They made this known when Mills and his team paid a courtesy visit to Idris on Wednesday in Abuja. According to him, many democratic countries are facing issues of disinformation, misinformation, and fake news. Responding, Idris said he had a useful discussion with Mills, especially in the area of press freedom and responsible journalism. When we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Former President John Dramani Mahama has endorsed a 30-page publication titled For the Records, which details the developmental achievements of the previous National Democratic Congress administration in the Anya Sowutom constituency of the Gas Central Municipal Assembly. Authored by the Deputy Communication Officer of the constituency, Raphael Apetogbo, the book meticulously documents various infrastructural projects, some of which have been neglected far more than 7 years under the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. Speaking at a community engagement event in the Sowutom, Mahama, who is the flag bearer for the NDC for the 2024 election, showcased the book as solid evidence of the NDC's contribution to the constituency infrastructure, noting that it serves as a reminder of the party's commitment to the constituency. Foreign Minister Mamadou Tangara was at the National Assembly for questions about the fate of several Gambian diplomats recalled over one scandal or the other. In the last several years, Gambian diplomats have been recalled or expelled from their positions in the US, Cuba, Mauritania, and Russia over one embarrassment or the other. Confronted over these matters in the Assembly, Minister Tangara said some Gambian diplomats whose conduct brought embarrassment to the country have been removed from the foreign service. The minister did not disclose the names of persons involved, but last year, 4 diplomats were expelled by the US government for different offenses, including visa fraud. Another incident at the Gambian embassy in Cuba resulted in the recalling of 2 diplomats for involvement in an unfortunate incident. A finance officer there too was recalled. Asked what further steps have been taken by his ministry besides recalling some of the diplomats concerned, Tangara said some of the diplomats are no longer with the Foreign Service, even though they are part of the civil service. We move to other parts of Africa after this break. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Sudan's army and the paramilitary rapid support forces said they are open for peaceful solutions to a war that has been ongoing for more than 17 months in response to U.S. President Joe Biden's call on warring parties to re-engage in talks. Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said on Wednesday the Sudanese government remains open to all constructive efforts aimed at ending the war before RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo follows suit with a similar sentiment early on Thursday. However, both men traded blame for a failure to bring an end to a conflict that has killed more than 12,000 people since it started in April 2023, accusing each other of committing abuses. They have not outlined specific steps towards reaching a peaceful solution. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has reiterated Africa's demand for permanent representation in the UN Security Council. The South African leader emphasized that it is unacceptable for the continent home to 1.3 billion people to remain unrepresented. Speaking to newsmen at the Africa Aerospace and Defense Exhibition Airshow at the Waterkloof Air Force Base in Centurion, South Africa, Ramaphosa argued that Africa deserves not only a permanent seat, but also veto rights to avoid being relegated to second-class participation. This comes after the U.S. last week said it will call for support for 2 African countries as permanent members of the UNSC without veto power as part of the proposed reforms. Up next is business news. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And on business news, the Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Hitham Al-Ghaiz, has revealed that taxes imposed by major oil-consuming countries, not oil prices, are the primary driver of fuel cost. He explained that the prices paid by consumers at the pump were determined by various factors, including the price of crude oil, refining, transportation, and marketing costs, oil company margins, and taxes. According to our guys, revenues generated from oil sales are often reinvested by oil-producing countries into the oil sector. He stated that OPEC member countries reinvested a substantial portion of their revenue into exploration, production, and transportation projects. That reinvestment, he said, ensured the continuous supply of oil to meet global demand. On the other hand, the OPEC boss noted that consuming countries' governments receive significant revenue from taxes imposed on petroleum products. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, has attributed the current uproar between the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and the Dangote Petroleum Refinery to alleged government policy, somersault and fraudulent moves by some forces. Ajero, who said this to newsmen at the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos on Wednesday, he further described what has been going on between the Dangote and the NNPC as uncalled for, stressing that in a deregulated economy, there should be choices and competition. He queried the basis for regulating what Dangote is to sell, insisting that deciding for the private sector on how or what should be sold is an act of fraud. Still to come, sports news. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
Welcome back. And on sports news, the Nigerian Premier Football League has warned clubs against match disruption. The league organizer stated that stiff penalties await clubs caught in the act of disrupting matches in the Nigerian top flight. NPFL Chief Operating Officer Davidson Owumi disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. Owumi reminded clubs that it is their responsibility to make provision for adequate security during their home games. The home clubs shoulder the burden of ensuring the security of the visiting players, officials, and their fans prior, during, and after their home matches. Owumi stated in his address, noting that any team that allowed disruption, breaches, or security lapses under any guise or circumstances will face appropriate sanctions as stipulated in the NPFL rules. Joel Yakubu has completed a move to Czech Republic Premier League club Slovan Liberec from Mahaniam FC. Yakubu signed a 3-year contract following a successful medical. The 18-year-old is known for his incredible talent in the middle of the park. The midfielder's impressive display for Mahaniam caught the eye of Slovan Liberec officials. Another player, Yahaya Lawali, left Mahaniam to link up with Czech outfit MFK Kabina this week. Lawali was a former Golden Eaglet defender. And that's the sports news on Africa Today. We move to the rest of the news after this break.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
Welcome back. And now to the rest of the news. The federal government has said that any employer in the public and private sectors paying below the 70,000 naira minimum wage will be punished by law. Ismail Abubakar, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, clarified on Wednesday while speaking at the 13th Annual General Meeting of the Employers Association for Private Employment Agencies of Nigeria in Lagos State. He was represented by the Ministry's Director of Employment and Wages, John Yamali. Abubakar said the federal government and organized labor agreed on the new minimum wage to address the current economic situation in the country. He emphasized that all Nigerian workers, both in government and private sectors, are expected to be paid at least 70,000 naira monthly. According to him, the minimum wage is now a law, and as a result, it is a punishable crime for any employer to pay less than 70,000 naira to any of its workers. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that halal economy, Nigeria government targets $1.5 billion 2027. South African president calls for permanent African seat on UN Security Council. Sudan's warring party says they are open for peaceful solutions. And on sport, NPFL cautions club against match disruption. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. Thanks for watching.